Hi, Dr. Carol Francis here. I'm a clinical psychologist, marriage, family, child therapist, clinical hypnotherapist, and it goes on. It's a rather long list, and you're welcome to look at drcarolfrancis.com for more details that might be able to service you particularly. Today's idea is for you to take your wish to have authentically good relationships quite seriously. In fact, you want to be able to relax with your very clarity about wanting your relationships to be respectful towards you, loving towards you, and also considerate of who you are. Simultaneously, you want to be able to do that towards other people. But you need to be relatively relaxed about how you want to be treated. What is interesting is about individuals who kind of attract maltreatment or attract disrespect, even to the degree of abusiveness. It's really true that you, as a victim of people's malintent or disrespect, that you do play a part. Not always, but I want you to pay attention to your side of the formula. Not to take blame, but to empower you. So here goes some ideas you want to consider. One thing that I see often in people who are victims of maltreatment is that they tend to have a lower amount of energy and a lower amount of self-respect, and they feel like the power for change actually exists inside that other person. That other person is who needs to change. And granted, that other person probably does need to change. Learn how to be respectful, kind, compassionate, see you, be aware of you. As long as you're waiting for the other person to change, you're probably going to miss the boat. So sometimes I see individuals say, okay, well, I'll change and I'll become mean and cruel and the biatch of the planet. And they're not able to realize that now they're going to generate a whole lot of hostility and conflict and power struggle. That's only going to cause more bitterness and victimization. However, it is important for the victims of disrespect, abuse, maltreatment, disregard to be really respectful. Number one, really self-respecting. Know how you want to be treated and the clarity of that. Not how that other person's likely to treat you when they're in their optimal state. That's different. But how you want to be treated when you're in your most self-respected state of mind. And you want to repeat that to yourself over and over and over again. I enjoy being respected by other people. I enjoy people admiring XYZ about me. I enjoy individuals treating me with compassion and concern. That's not about making me into a victim and woe is me, but about just that general feeling of, well, being compassionately treated and understood. I enjoy feeling deep inside of me that sense of confidence, that comfortableness for who I am, that inspires me to make sure that I'm hanging around with other people that also possess that confidence and that ability to be compassionate out of respect for human beings. So now suddenly you're grooming yourself to be the person that you yourself could deeply respect. Now if your first response is, oh, I can't do that, or gee, I really need this other person to boost me up so I feel good about myself, you're really not going to cultivate you. And what you want to do is evolve you the best you can so that every day you're searching for what your most optimal, confident, self-respecting person is. And if that means you have to do things that help you respect yourself, then do them. Does that mean that you dress a certain way, that you exercise, that you sleep enough so that you feel alert and not depressed and anxious and low energy? Yes. Does it mean that you choose those foods that make you feel really self-respecting? Yes. Even if mixed in there is the other food you don't feel very respectful of that you're eating. Choose those activities, those involvement that you sit there and say, wow, I really respect that I did that today. Be helpful, constructive. Do the things that you want to do. Be the things you want to be. Look the way you would like to be, and optimizing your moment. The next day will build on this day. So you want to take whatever you can do today, even if it isn't your most optimal image of yourself, do whatever you can do today to make you feel more respectful about you. So now, guess what? You're treating yourself with respect and compassion and making the most of who you are. Now, this other person's going to come along in your life, and if they've been used to looking down on you and kind of using you as their punching bag, which is really not okay, then they're going to be offended, threatened, and concerned that you're developing an identity that's going to not want them around. They're going to know that eventually you're going to reject their form of treatment. They're going to feel threatened by the fact that you're going to move outside of their target zone and not be their target anymore. They're going to try to oppress you, push you down, conquer your self-confidence that's growing because it doesn't serve them in their paradigm, the way they've organized you into their life. Just know that. And since you know that, you're going to need to be prepared. One, not to fight back, because now you're lowered into it. And eventually, since they're better at this, they'll lower your self-esteem. But you may need to move yourself out of the circumstances. So now you need to consider, oh, I don't want to lose this, this, and this. Security, their finances. Oh, maybe one day they will love and I'll lose the promise. What will I do with the kids and the family? All those things you might have to shift. You might have to shift. Don't leave the children to be victims to this, but you might need to shift you and all the other victims out of this consciously. That can be scary. And that's for another video because it's a very serious conversation. But for now, move yourself into the most respectful self-treatment you can imagine. I'm not talking about self-indulgence. I'm talking about respect, health, clarity, authentic compassion. Those things that you can imagine someone does when they really want to take good care of themselves. Do 5 little things. Do 1 big thing. But do those things every day, as many times a day as you possibly can. Accumulate it. Make it roll like a snowball down a hill until it gets bigger and bigger and bigger to clear the path that you need to be able to birth yourself into a much safer, healthier situation. This is Dr. Carol Francis talking about freeing you from abusive, disrespectful circumstances. And the first person to start with is you. Take good care of yourself.